Yo, it's me, Asti, and today I'm going to be ranking the running backs in the 2021 NFL Draft. If you like this video, hit the like button, comment down below what position you want me to do next, and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm almost to 500 subs. If you could hit that subscribe button for me, I'd greatly appreciate it. Without further ado, let's get into the running back rankings. So unfortunately, if you saw my wide receiver rankings video, I put a lot of clips of them in college, and I can't do that anymore because YouTube copyrighted it.
You suck!
So instead, I'm just going to put a picture of them up over there. I'm going to put the draft projection underneath them too. That was requested from the last video. And yeah, at number one, I have Najee Harris out of Alabama. This dude's a monster. He's literally Derrick Henry 2.0. He breaks so many tackles. This dude's fast. He's got moves. He's agile. He's everything you want, like everything you want in a running back. I'm so high on this guy. A lot of people have Travis Etienne at one just because he's fast. That's like really it. But no, Najee Harris can do everything. He can catch too. As you see his last 2 years at Alabama, the yards per carry was amazing. I think this guy has a huge ceiling in a super high floor too. This dude is amazing, Najee Harris. A lot of people know a lot about him already, so I won't talk a lot on him. I'll save more time for guys that you guys don't know. But Najee Harris is a stud monster. That's why I have him at number one. Now at number two, I have Travis Etienne. He does have elite speed, like I just said. A lot of people put him at number one. I just can't do it because I love Najee so much. But Etienne is really, really good too. He will go in the late first round, I think. Him and Najee could, if not early second, depending on if running backs fall or not. But he had some great numbers in college, a ton of touchdowns, ton of yards. There's great production out of this guy. And I think that will transfer into the NFL pretty well. He was a really good receiver at Clemson too. I think people aren't talking about that as much as it should. He was really good at catching, good receiving back. He should be a 3-down back in the NFL. But yeah, Etienne at number two. At number three, I have Javonte Williams from North Carolina. Javonte Williams made a huge step from his sophomore year to his junior year, as you can tell in the stats. He had really good stats at North Carolina, but he's fast, broke a lot of tackles, really good vision and awareness. He has really great balance too. He can't just be tackled by an arm tackle. Like, that is not going to bring down Javonte Williams. He is a junior. He was first in the nation for yards after contact. Like, this guy breaks a lot of tackles, and he gets a lot of yards after contact. He's first in the nation. And he was also forced the most missed tackles. So I think that'll translate really well into the NFL. Kind of like a Alvin Kamara, if I had to compare him to somebody, but he should go in the second round. He's that good. Javonte Williams at number three. And number four, I have Michael Carter from North Carolina. I got the two North Carolina running back teammates back to back in my rankings. Now, Michael Carter is a little smaller than Javonte Williams, and Michael Carter also has a little bit of an injury risk. He injured his wrist in sophomore year, that ended his year, and he also had a season-ending injury in high school. Take that with a grain of salt, it was high school, but still, it's there. He had one less carry than Javonte Williams last year, and so North Carolina really ran the ball a lot last year. I think they got a new scheme, and they really, really liked running the ball. He returns kicks too, and he had great yards per carries as a senior, as you can see on there, 8.0. But he didn't have a lot of carries at his time in North Carolina because of Javonte Williams. So I think NFL teams will like that. He doesn't have a lot of work on him, and so they'll take him higher. I got him in the late second, early third, just right after his teammate. At number five, I have Chuba Hubbard out of Oklahoma State. Now, Chuba had an amazing year in 2019, as you can see up there, almost 2,100 yards and like 21 touchdowns. That's insane. Led the NCAA in rushing. So obviously he's good. So that led people to think he was going to be a top-tier running back in this draft. But he had a pretty bad year last year. Slowed down a lot. I don't know if it was because of injuries or what, but that 2019 year was a flash of greatness, I think. That's why I have him at number five. A lot of people have him a little lower, but I still hold on to that 2019 year, and I think he can do that. He's really fast. He has great moves, great vision. But he did play against Big 12 defenses, and Big 12 defense is optional, so I don't really know how that'll translate. That's why I have him at five, not higher like the North Carolina boys. But at number five for Chuba, I think it's a good spot in the third round. I think a team will really like that value in Chuba at third. So yeah, Chubb at 5. At number 6, I have a guy you might not have heard of before, but I have Jarrett Patterson out of Buffalo. Now, you probably haven't heard of him because he went to Buffalo, and therefore he didn't play much competition, but he was great against that competition, so it shows he can dominate. He had great production, as you can see up there, 1,000 yards every year and 1,800 yards in 2019, like 19 touchdowns his last 2 years. Great numbers from a running back. He broke the record for touchdowns in a game with 8. 8 touchdowns in a game is pretty legit if you ask me. I think Jarrett Patterson translates really well into NFL. I really want to see him do well. He had a great story with him and his brother coming out of high school, going to Buffalo. I won't go into the whole story for y'all. You can look it up if you want, but just know he did take a gray shirt year in between high school and college, and so he only played 3 years at Buffalo. But I can really see him translating well to NFL. That's why I have him at number 6. A lot of people are sleeping on him in my opinion, but just because he played at Buffalo. I could see him going in the 3rd round, and I think he could really do well in the NFL. So Jarrett Patterson, number 6. At number 7, I have Trey Sermon out of Ohio State. He did transfer from Oklahoma to Ohio State. So yeah, he is a big back. He had a great O-line at Ohio State, but he did play great competition, so it's hard to gauge it there. I think he can be a goal line back to the next level, even though he didn't score a lot of touchdowns. He's just not much of a home run hitter in my opinion, and I value that a lot in running backs. He did dominate the Big Ten championship game though. So he's kind of all over the place for me. That's why I can't put him much higher than 7. But Trey Sermon at 7 I think fits. I think he could be a possible bell cow if a team knows how to use him. But yeah, at 7 is where I think works. At number 8, I have Jermar Jefferson out of Oregon State. He's been getting a lot of hype lately, a lot of love. I'm putting at number 8, so I'm showing love too. He's quick, not very fast, but more quick. He breaks a lot of tackles, kind of like a Javonte Williams, but not as great. He had a great freshman year though, but then he got injured sophomore year. There's a little bit of injury concern there, but then he popped off again last year with a great average of 6.5. He didn't finish the whole year though because Pac-12, you know the whole thing. He is a sleeper in this draft. Just based off of his freshman year alone, I think is why he's up so high. He was the offensive player of the year for the Pac-12, or freshman offensive player of the year in the Pac-12 his freshman year. But yeah, I have him at number 8 because of the potential of his freshman year. At number 9, I have Kenneth Gainwell out of Memphis. Now, a lot of people put him higher than I have him right here at 9 because of his 2019 year. It was a great 2019 year, but he didn't play in 2020, and so there's some question marks there for me. I don't know if he'll be as great. I don't know if it'll translate as well. He is a really great dual threat running back though. Memphis seems to be producing a lot of those types of running backs with Tony Pollard, Darrell Henderson, Antonio Gibson, just to name a few. Maybe RBU. Kenneth Gainwell could be a top 3 running back in this class, and at the end of the day, I just can't put him very high because of the 2020. I know it's hard this year with the COVID and whatever, but Kenneth Gainwell at 9. At number 10, I have Demetric Felton from UCLA. Now, Demetric Felton, I think could be at best be a gadget player or a 3rd down back. I don't think he could be a bell cow for an NFL team, but it still holds value. Teams look for guys like that. He was a kick returner at UCLA. He's very athletic, and in 2018, he almost played wide receiver more than he did running back, which I guess a team could put him at wide receiver, maybe like a slot. I don't know if they can switch him over this late in, but he, as a running back, he hits the hole well. He can bounce it out. He can catch shifty. And if you give him a space, it's going to be a touchdown. And so I think NFL teams will like that aspect of him. Big home run hitter that I put him at number 10. So that was the top 10 running backs from the 2021 NFL Draft. I do have some honorable mentions here, though, as you can see. Ramondre Stevenson out of Oklahoma. He's really big. Eddie Lacy vibes for me. I think he could bust in a few years. That's why he's not in the top 10. He is really fast for how big he is, though. A lot of people are high on him. I just can't. Keelan Hill was really hard for me to scout. He was kind of almost boring. I don't want to be that guy, but I don't know. He just didn't excite me, and I didn't see the potential there. Puka Williams, I think it's Puka Williams. I think people like him just because his name is Puka. He did play for a terrible Kansas team. He did pretty well there, but I just can't put him in the top 10. I would put Keelan Hill at 11 though if we were doing this whole list, but I think after 10 there's a really big drop off, and so that's why I'm doing these honorable mentions right here. But yeah, that's all the top 10 right there, as you can see, all in a list, so you can compare them all or whatever. But yeah, I just want to thank y'all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Also follow my Instagram at Asti_YT. But yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed.